You're listening to the Fantasy Fling Podcast. Take a break from the season-long commitment and join us as we give you the newest and hottest DFS deals, preview the DFS main slate, and take the dreadful walk of shame. Here are your hosts, Brandon and Eric.
Welcome back. And Paul.
Let's go.
Welcome back to another edition of the Fantasy Fling Podcast. It's our Milli Maker special, Making a Milli. Week 13 look at Making a Milli, the Milli Maker preview, of course. Eric and Paul, how we doing?
Good.
Hey, good, man. I've cast 3 out of 4 weeks in a row on the Milli Maker. I haven't won it, but I haven't lost any money either, so not bad.
Good.
Yeah, man, doing great for sure.
By the way, speaking of all this, Paul, I was talking to Kevin Allen, which, by the way, thank you. I hope you're okay with me sharing this to Paul, but he gave me a 50% off for just the NFL package, so it's $20 a month for DFS Army. If you want it, I'll send it your way. Otherwise, it's like $40 a month.
DFS Army coming through. Honestly, we could not do this Milli Maker show without DFS Army, without the domination station. And Eric got a little taste of it now, so that's how I build. That's how I build my stacks. And the good thing is, we do it on the fly. We roll the dice on the fly, right? So, like building a lineup on air, it's pretty hard to do without the domination station. So those optimizers, clutch.
Unless you win like me, I don't have to roll a die.
Yeah, you guys, like I said, every time, for weeks I invited you to the contest, and you finally all join, and then you win.
And then
but,
you shit the bed.
I was outscoring you the other week, so it's whatever.
Yeah, because we weren't in it. That's why you were outscoring us. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. You know what your scores were. You know what my score was too.
All right.
Well, let's. Eric. So you were first last week. How many points did you score?
It wasn't a great week. It was 143.18.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a great week, but I made $10. I won 30. So
yeah,
it wasn't great. I finished 17,000th overall. So not nearly as good as when I finished a couple weeks ago with 1,000th, but it was okay. It was all right.
For sure.
I made some good choices, some bad choices. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, and then Paul was second with 120.
121. Yeah. A lot of good hits, a lot of misses. A few misses, a lot of good hits though.
So it was crazy. So I scored 110 points, but I was just telling Eric, I still really like my team. It was a good lineup, a lot of correlation. I had Brady and Evans and Gronk double stack, brought back with Pittman, but all the tutties went to Fournette. So that's how that goes. If I ran that same lineup out this week, I feel like it would do way better. Of course, with Brady and Gronk and Evans double stack, but I had Barkley, I had Tyler Johnson, Jamar Chase. So Hilliard, smashed with Hilliard. That was a great play, putting him in there, but unfortunately, none of the studs really did a whole lot. But anyways, so before we look at the Week 13 Milli Maker, before we roll the dice, we are going to take a look back at Week 12. What won the Milli last week? Always looking for those trends, so that's why we do this. So what we had last week was a Stafford stack, and I had a lot of Stafford stacks. I just wasn't enough, I guess. Enough stacks, as I didn't have that in the Milli Maker. I didn't have that in big GPPs, but I did have quite a bit of Stafford stacks, and we talked about it on Fantasy Fling Podcast on Wednesday. He really didn't have the best day, but fantasy points wise, it got it done. So Stafford, what we had was Stafford and Beckham, and it was brought back with Henderson. So that was the main stack. Totaled 63 points. You got an average of 21 points. And then we had another mini game stack in here. And so this had Jalen Waddle and the Dolphins D, which crushed it between the two of them. Over 50 points. And then it was brought back with Robbie Anderson. So he didn't do very well. He only got 2 points. But it was nice to see some stacks back in the Milli Maker. After week 11, when we saw just the ugly Cam Tremble stack that took it down, this was a nice return to normalcy, as these two stacks had 120 points across 6 positions. And really the Dolphins stack I thought was most impressive with Waddle and the Dolphins D. It averaged 27 points. And this lineup really would have had a lot more potential. It scored out 230 points, but had you just picked anyone else besides Anderson, it would have went a lot better. What are you saying? Are you good?
I was trying to waddle, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
My chair's blocking me from waddling.
Okay.
I can't waddle.
Because normally when you say it's like my mic's muted or like the camera cut out. I'm like, what's going on here, bro?
No, on the way back down, my hand hit the keyboard, and I like put a big space in our document, and I was like, hope I didn't mess anything up, but we're looking good.
Yeah. So, the stacks, as good as they were, they really only work if your one-offs hit, right, as well. So that certainly was the case with this lineup with Mixon and Fournette, as we'll get into that real quick. But overall roster percentage, so week 11, it was like crazy low, right? It went down to 28%. This was also a return to normalcy. We saw 91%, which on the season it's about 95%. So pretty close to the median. We had Stafford at 3%, Mixon at 11%, Fournette really crushed it, like 3%. Beckham 8%. Did Eric forget to plug in his laptop again? This happens so much. Paul, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I literally put it in the group chat. Plug in your laptop. It's okay. We'll keep going.
Let's go.
We're doing it live. Yeah, Beckham 8%, Waddle 6%. Just a ton of guys underneath 10%, of course, even under 5%. And then Gronk being the chalkiest with 36%. And then Henderson 14%, Dolphins D. Great leverage on the field, 3%. So overall roster percentage is something to keep in mind, but you really need to look for leverage. So Fournette, he was the highest scoring player on the slate. He came in at 3.65% owned in the Milli Maker. Huge leverage on chalky backs like James Robinson, who's 25% owned. Direct leverage off of Jonathan Taylor in that same game, who was 12% owned. Godwin, Evans, and Pittman, they were all chalky. They came in at like 10 to 25% ownership and vastly underperformed projections. So he was the ultimate leverage. And then Waddle, he was also the highest at his position, highest scoring wide receiver on the slate, 6.43% ownership in the Milli Maker, leverage off of guys like Pittman, Samuel, Godwin, Cooks, Moore, and Ayuk. And then the Dolphins D. That was the highest scoring defense, special teams on the slate, highest performance from fantasy points per dollar perspective in this lineup at over 8x. Great leverage on the field, only 3% owned. Provided leverage off chalkier options like Texans at 33%, Jags at 15%, Patriots at 9%. Next thing, we look at pricing. So $50,000, pretty common. Pretty much every Milli Maker winner is going to pay $50,000, or they're just going to have like a few less than like a few $100 less than $50,000. But every week in the Milli Maker, you have at least one guy who produced 6x on their salary. This lineup had 2. So it had Fournette at 6.92x, and then the Dolphins at 8.21x. So pretty much crushed it there. And Eric is really gone. He's still not back. So
he's gone. We lost him.
We're going to have to do this again without him. I don't know. And then ceiling, it's pretty obvious, right? This team, this lineup, it won the Milli Maker, so why are we talking about ceiling? Clearly it had the ceiling to be there. And the reason we go over ceiling is the last thing, we look at when constructing a large field GPP tournament is, does it have the kind of ceiling to get there? So you basically have to look at your builds. It's important to scan the players in your lineups to see if they have the kind of ceiling to get you there. If you play DFS for a certain period of time and you have never hit a score over 200, you probably need to reevaluate your process as far as your ceiling. Do you have enough players? If your stacks hit, your studs, your one-offs, they hit, do you have the ceiling to go over 220, 230 points to bring down a big tournament like this? So definitely something to look at. For example, you're generally not expecting Waddle to get there alone, but when you stack him with the Dolphins defense and Anderson, you have a strong belief that the Dolphins can push the pace. So you start looking at game theory, right? By scoring touchdowns. Okay. Through Waddle, you create turnovers. You still force the Panthers to pass, which is, what happened there. Cam was throwing interceptions, so the Dolphins D was scoring, Waddle was scoring. Together, the three have the ceiling needed for the stack to get there. But obviously, you aren't comfortable playing Robbie Anderson by himself. But in a stack, that's where this can work. Welcome back, Eric. Did you do it again with the laptop?
Did it again.
I literally told you.
I know.
I said plug. I yelled, plug in your laptop.
The problem is usually with laptops, it gives you a warning, right? And then you have maybe a couple minutes to plug it in.
Yeah.
This because the battery's so bad on this bitch, it goes. Dun, dun, dun. I'm like, uh-oh, and then it just dies. There's 3 seconds. So my bad.
This guy
did it again.
Yeah. So that's pretty much gonna do it.
Look at the notes of the show.
Yeah.
Look at the first words. Wait, what are they? See that? Plug your laptop in, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see that? I still didn't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and you know what? Rounding this out, last thing I'll say is we're talking about a little bit of game theory with this lineup. What was good about this is you're banking on Mixon and Fournette shouldering the load for a high-scoring offense. So in that game, for example, with Fournette, you're fading the chalk. You're playing Fournette. You're hoping that the game ends up being as high-scoring as projected, but the scoring goes through him for a slate-breaking score. And that's exactly what happened here. And that is why Tommy Mack 84 won the Milli Maker last week. Combination of Mixon and Fournette. That's why he won it and not us.
I had
That's
Mixon
all right.
in my lineup.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
for that,
right?
though.
Yeah. But it's all right. We're gonna roll the dice one more time. So, Eric, you are first. Obviously, you have your stack. You want to go ahead and tell us a stack, and then that you're going to use, and then Paul will roll, and then I will roll, and then we'll get into it.
I debated between the top three were actually really good. I almost took the Raiders Washington football stack because I liked it, but I ended up going this year has been really weird. Where last week Brady was supposed to go off and Fournette did, and this week ideally Fournette would, but it feels like things are just kind of twisted sometimes. So I'm going with Tampa Bay Atlanta stack. And I have probably put 0 Atlanta players in my lineup. That's not going to happen.
All right.
So that's where I'm going.
Tampa Bay, Atlanta.
Yep.
I do like that bounce back for Brady. I'm
hoping.
Think all the tutties are going through Fournette this time.
I'm hoping he hasn't had one of those 4 or 5 touchdown weeks in a while. I'm hoping it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming against Atlanta. They do whatever they want. They want to run on the run. They want to pass. They'll pass. But they do put their foot on the gas pedal. I'm hoping that it's a Brady week.
Okay, well let me roll.
Yeah.
2.
Damn you, Paul! You had to get that
Woo!
one. Right.
I like that stack too, man. It's a good stack.
I got 6.
A good game.
And 4. Jacksonville and L.A. I can do that one. I got some team stacks for that. All right. So Eric, you got your lineup built for us over at DFS Army, the optimizer.
Is this Chenault's breakout game? Just asking for a friend.
I don't.
Fuck, anytime now.
Dude, I've been a Chenault truther forever, and I don't know anymore. I can't. I can't go to bat anymore. I just don't think they know how to use him. In Jacksonville, apparently they don't believe in him. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. So
it's sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah,
it makes me very sad. I had it on paper, and I'm just putting it in to make sure that everything that I wrote down actually lines up with the actual numbers, just to make sure I didn't mess anything up. So give me about 30 seconds, 10 seconds. I'll have it all steady. I'm just putting it in there to make sure that the actual numbers line up.
I like number 4.
But I'm just about ready. Whoop! Well. And it's finally happening.
How do you not have your lineup ready yet, Eric?
No, it's ready. I'm putting it in to make sure that I don't go over, because then it would suck if I was all excited about this lineup and it wasn't.
What do you mean over?
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure the numbers all line up when I wrote it down. I wrote it down in a hurry. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I was gonna say you're not using the domination station because all the numbers are there for you.
They're all there. I'm just making sure.
Okay.
This is the first time I've ever input. I'm sure they pull the data from a feed. I get it from a But just making sure. I'm good. I'm ready. So,
Okay.
because I chose the Tampa Atlanta stack, I chose 0 Atlanta players to come back with. I don't want to
Okay.
fuck Atlanta.
I like that, actually.
I don't like them.
I like that.
So I have Brady and Evans and Godwin. Now, we've seen games where they both have gone off. If they both go off, that means Brady went off. It's a little risky, but I'm hoping that this is the Brady 4 or 5 touchdown week. Maybe it's spread out just beautifully everywhere. So I'm banking that Fournette does nothing this week, and all the touchdowns go to Brady. And I follow that up with, so I have Brady, Evans, and Godwin as my stack. My running backs are, I finally had to put my boy in there, Jonathan Taylor, JT baby. I got him in there.
Had to, huh?
I had to finally put him in. He's got a great matchup. He's 9,200. I get it, but he's against Houston. Man, I'm hoping he puts up 40, 50. Be great. We'll see. And then I have Jamal Williams against the Vikings. He's going to be high owned. But overall, my lineup is about 103% ownership, so it's not nothing too crazy. The other wide receiver that I rounded out with was Josh Reynolds. In the DFS Army, he's actually, for points per dollar, he's pretty high. And I assume that means that they're going to be getting their ass kicked the whole time. They're going to be throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So that's
he's coming in the projections. He's popping in the optimizer too, from what I'm seeing. And I didn't give him a like or anything to up his percentage so that he fit into the lineups. He's just popping.
Yeah, he's a 4.5, 4% owned. He's really low. It also allowed me to put Jonathan Taylor in, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Josh Reynolds. And I also have a cousin named Josh Reynolds. Foster Moreau is the tight end I chose. Last time he was up when Waller was out, he performed really well. Carr seems to like his number 1 tight end, and he'll be number 1 this week. In the flex, instead of a wide receiver, I went with Elijah Mitchell.
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah, man. This could be a great game for him. The 49ers are going to try to pass as little as possible. They may run the ball 40 times. Who knows? But they're trying to just keep Jimmy G to 20 passes a week. And then I got the Raiders as my defense. I was back and forth on this one. They're kind of Jekyll and Hyde. But in order to make it fit, that's where I went. I actually was debating, and I'm actually going to make this change, or I might make this change. But I might actually go with the Giants D. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of undecided, but right now I have the Raiders in.
Okay. For sure, yeah. This be a lot of back and forth on that, sure.
Yeah, Giants D is actually not. I mean, their offense sucks, but the defense is pretty good. Think about what they did. They almost beat the Chiefs. They beat the Raiders. I mean, almost every game that they're in is they keep their opponents almost under 20 points. It's just their offense sucks. But their defense is pretty good. So that's where I have, just to recap it, I got Tom Brady, I have Jonathan Taylor and Jamal Williams. I have Mike Evans and Josh Reynolds, Foster Moreau, Elijah Mitchell, and the Raiders defense, which I'm kind of on the fence about. I might change that one up a little bit, but we'll see.
I like it.
Thank you.
I do like it.
That's my first lineup that I've used DFS Army to kind of guide me a little bit. I knew who I wanted, and then it helped me. I created 30 lineups, and I kind of went through a bunch and figured out which one I liked. So that's the one I ended up I tweaked it a little, but that's there we go.
Yeah, I'll probably tweak mine too. But overall, I like what I'm seeing. So, Paul, how about you? What's yours look like?
Let's go. All right. So, I got the Cincy stacks. I went with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase as far as the stack. Then Jamal Williams and Alexander Madison as my backs.
All
Two
right.
backs going straight into the lead role. Cooper Kupp. I went with Brandon Ayuk this week. With Deebo Samuel being out this week, if he is still out, I believe he's doubtful at this point. I think he's going to get some good volume there. Logan Thomas, Foster Moreau, and then the Houston D. That one I don't really feel good. I almost might want to change that to the Lions D. I don't.
Did you
So
say
you got
Houston
two
D?
tight ends?
What's up?
You got two tight
Yes.
ends too?
Who's Foster Moreau and who?
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas. Did you say you had the Texans D?
Yeah.
Do you know who they're playing, right?
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Paul. They're playing my boy JT. Means they're going to get
JT's
slaughtered, bro.
No, they figured him out last week.
Yeah.
His point total went down by like 50%, from 40 down to 19.
That was Tampa. Tampa Bay, the best run defense in the league.
I know, it's a joke.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, "What?"
Like 19 is like a low number. That's what I'm saying. All right.
I got you. Okay, my bad. All right. Who?
All right, one more time, Paul. Let's hear it one more time.
Yeah, let's hear it again. I missed it. Some of the receivers.
We went through it quick.
Chase.
Okay. Burrow, Jamal Williams, Alexander Madison, 2 backup backs going into the main role. Both can put up good numbers. Chase, Cup, and Ayuk. Ayuk just because Samuel's out, I believe, this week. And then Logan Thomas, Foster Moreau, and the Houston defense.
Do you know how high the overall roster percentage is?
No.
Okay, so Eric hooked up, Geek from DFS Army hooked Eric up. Yeah, $20, okay, for a VIP subscription. Veteran Eric off to 4, that's you. You need this because if you have a lineup that's crazy chalky, it doesn't matter.
That's a good cash lineup, bro.
Yeah, it's not going to matter. So we need to know the overall roster percentage, Paul.
Well, Paul, I'll tell you what, man. Hopefully he's okay with this, but I'll forward you the link he gave me.
It's for veterans. He's down with it.
For veterans, so I'm sure it's cool. It's just for the NFL package, though.
Backup backs. I don't believe this.
Well, I mean, that's usually you play the.
No. Trust me, those backs, because they're backups, they're going to be chalky because they're value. They're good value. So you can play one of them, but if you play like a bunch of them, like right there, you're looking at like 60% ownership just on the 3.
I mean, I'll be really honest. Mine was between my 2 running backs, I'm at 40%, which is kind of a no-no by me. But my lineup is 103% total, so I did take some chances elsewhere. I just really like JT this week. I had to get him in there, man. I had to get him in there. But so I kind of did the same thing. I have a 40% roster between. Actually, if you include Elijah Mitchell, 55% of all 3 of my running backs.
Yeah. But if you get different elsewhere, that's fine.
A little bit.
But. So I will go with mine now. I've kind of gone back and forth on this, and I probably will tweak this by Sunday. But
you got Jacksonville and the Rams, right?
Yeah. So I'm going with the Stafford stack. I feel like the Rams, they played like crap recently, so this is a get right game for them to just throttle Jacksonville, as we talked about on Wednesday. So I like Stafford. And I was looking at a lineup with Stafford and then Jamal Williams and Josh Reynolds, kind of as you had Reynolds, Eric. But here's the thing: I don't believe that the Lions can support 2 players. I don't think they can get there. I think you're right. I just don't see how that's possible. So maybe if I swap out Jamal Williams and I go Reynolds, if I can maybe. Sony Michel's an option, right? So if Henderson doesn't play, maybe I go to Sony Michel and I do Stafford, Cup, Sony Michel stack. So that's a possibility. That might be where I'll go, but we'll need to get more info on Henderson. Mm-hmm. So what I currently have, Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon. Mixon has just been in the Milli Maker so many times this year.
He's got another great matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Another great matchup. So the Chargers defense, they kind of funnel to the running backs, as we saw last week. Javonte going a little crazy. We got a question on Javonte. We'll answer that in a bit. But, Stafford, Joe Mixon, Jamal Williams. He will be one of the chalky value backs, of course. And then I do have another stack in there. Stafford, Cup. That is my stack. So first the Jags, but Mixon, Williams, my running backs. And then I have a Juwan Jennings. We talked about him earlier in the week. Juwan man. Right now, 3% ownership projections. Stacking him in a team stack with Eli Mitchell. So I have Eli Mitchell on the flex. My other 2 wide receivers, Hunter Renfrow, who's got a really good matchup this week. He's popping in the optimizer as well. And then, of course, Cup, as I mentioned. And we said Urban Meyer, he loves himself a tight end. So James O'Shaughnessy this week. That is actually the
Shaq Hennessy.
Yeah. Shaq Nasty. So yeah, he actually would be the bring back with Stafford and Cup. And then finish it out with the Bears D. Not a super great matchup, but you never know. Maybe Kyler Murray doesn't actually play, then it's a good matchup. Or he plays and he's hobbled and he's not quite himself still. So, or he's rusty because he hadn't played in a while. So that's where I'm going to go with my Milli Maker build.
Well, Shaughnessy, man, I like him. It was for me, like every lineup I have either has Moreau or Shaughnessy. I feel like the value is too good to not take him. Both the quarterback, both quarterbacks love it throwing to the tight end. Who were your receivers again? You had
had Renfro, Cup, and Juwan Jennings.
Nice. So it could be a high ceiling or low floor type receivers.
For sure. Yeah, you need Renfro to have a good game. Yeah. And you need a ceiling game from Stafford to that Cup stack. And it's same thing with Mixon and Eli Mitchell.
It would make sense if they came back this week though, because they've when they first started the season they were unstoppable, and they're going against a defense that probably can't stop them. So it's a good. I like that stack.
So overall roster percentage is 99%. In fact, looking at it, there is about $100 worth of salary left. So I could potentially let me look at the defenses and see if I could swap to a better matchup.
You got the Bears at what? At where are they at?
Salary.
There they are. That 2,600. You can move up to the Seahawks or the Giants.
Yeah.
Or 200, you said?
$100. Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
The Seahawks.
I don't know.
The Giants, maybe. I don't know.
Might stay with the Bears, probably. But let's move it along, gentlemen. Stacks, studs, and sleepers, and then we'll finish this thing out. Eric, do you want to start with your stacks that you like?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So the one that I actually played was Brady and Evans and Godwin, but I like any of those three. Together with Brady, Herbert and Williams. I think Mike Williams has a nice price this week. He could have a good bounce back. He's getting the targets. I'm not sure what changed between the weeks now and the beginning weeks where he tore it up into now, but Herbert and Williams and Chase is the running back. That'd be a good stack there.
Yeah.
I had Stafford and Cup listed as well, and then the other ones I listed was James Conner and the Cardinals D, and Saquon and the Giants D.
Oh, going right to the running back and D. All right.
Yeah, man.
Those are stacks too.
Yeah, those are the ones people love to marry that together. I think the Connor and the Cardinals D is probably the better way to go. I like that one a lot.
For sure. So for me, obviously I'm kind of projecting the two chalkiest games from what I'm seeing, obviously, to be Tampa and Atlanta, and the Chargers and the Bengals. So I'll have some exposure to those guys for sure in like smaller tournaments. Herbert, Allen, Williams. You could pair up with Eckler, and then Burrow. Chase is actually, from what I saw, he's coming in at pretty low ownership. So that's going to be a stack that isn't going to be that heavily owned. It's just kind of like is Chase going to get the targets in the end zone, or is it going to be Higgins? So I'm not going to forget about Chase, though. He's a stud. He has big playability. He can go off. So that's a stack that I like. And obviously, you have quite a few bring-back options. Another stack that I really like this week is Lamar. He's had some bad games recently. Yeah. But he could definitely finish as like the number one quarterback on any slate. He's going against the Steelers, specifically if we get the kind of bend that we got last week, like super wash Ben, and he's throwing interceptions and giving Lamar Jackson short field to run in tutties. Huh?
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Well, I saw this meme on, I think it was NFL memes, and it was like this Bengals D to Big Ben, and it was that Brock Lesnar. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip of he's talking to Hulk Hogan, and he's like, "Party's over, Grandpa." I was like, it was perfect. It was like the perfect meme for last week for sure. But yeah, give me some Lamar Jackson. You know, hit it a few different ways. Robinson, Bateman, and Andrews, and I don't know. That's one I feel like you could just team stack, and and you're really just doing one piece. Like you're just kind of picking one guy.
I'm ready for the Bateman. Go out. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, and another thing. So one thing I'm definitely going to try to do in the stacks this week is to get leverage off of the chalky running back plays, right? So if you have, for example, everyone in on Madison at like 7,600, give me Cousins stacks with Jefferson, with Thielen. I like those stacks. Just trying to get leverage on the field this week with the stacks, because we do have a lot of running backs that we're going to talk about, and play a combination of them. Play them all, but just be trying to get leverage off of that chalk.
Pretty surprised Madison's only, he's right now he's at 15%, but I figured he'd be higher than that, I guess because of his price.
Yeah, I think it's just overpriced. Like we talked about it before, I don't dislike Madison. I just don't like it at that price.
Yeah.
I just think there's better options that are cheaper than him.
Sure, man. Paul, did you want to throw in a stack or two?
Yeah, a couple of things. Obviously, I already mentioned both the backup backs that can put up high ceiling points with Jamal Williams and Alexander Madison. They can both do it. And the other thing I mentioned was Brandon Ayuk. I feel good about this going into this week. Deebo Samuel being out, Garoppolo's going to have to throw to. He's going to have him and Kittle.
Yeah.
This guy can put up big points. He's done it at the end of the year. Nobody knows what's been happening to him at the beginning of this year, and now he's getting usage again. He's putting up 20-point games again. So, he's going to be their wide receiver one. Let's go. And I feel good about Joe Mixon again this week. It's not really a sleeper. The man just...
What's all right?
Oh, we haven't even made it to sleepers yet, so.
What is wild about Sleeper? Sleeper predicted Derrick Henry coming back like next week and putting up 15 points for me. I was like, man, I want to live in fantasy land. Thank you, Sleeper, for taking me down in fantasy land where somehow Derrick Henry comes back.
Yeah.
Before the playoffs. Yeah,
so
week 15, they have him. Look at this. Week 15. They got him projected at 18.75 points.
Wow.
Go home, Sleeper. You drunk.
So real quick, we got a couple of questions in the chat, but one that we got, and we missed this, Paul, because we were snowboarding and skiing earlier. We were shredding. Melvin Gordon. We had a great time, but Melvin Gordon is doubtful for the game on Sunday. So Javonte Williams now becomes a lock for me. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him in tournaments, and we'll see where projections go. I might even play him in cash as well.
Hey,
but
I really know. Last week was the first time I've ever been to a Broncos game. Weirdly enough, I've never been to a game where the team I was going for lost. The two before, I went to two Rams games back when they sucked against the Bucks and then against the Saints the next week. And tickets were like $12 and $8 a piece. Still won those games somehow. So it's kind of like when you text me like, Taco, we need to get you seats to every game. The city needs you.
Yeah. Well, real quick, a couple things. Let's not get too off rails here. I just realized the Broncos and the Chiefs that actually got flexed into a night game. It's a Sunday night game. So, and I like Williams in the showdown for sure. As far as the question, Mike Evans or Javonte Williams at the flex for half PPR.
Javonte at this point.
What do you think, Eric?
For me, I'm going by. I mean, I love Javonte. I think he's awesome, but the Chiefs' defense has been playing really good the last 3-4 weeks. For me, I'm going Evans. There's been a lot of research done by RotoViz that shows that the to win the flex, you typically play a receiver in there. And if you have Mike Evans as a flex, I would go Evans over Javonte. Even with Gordon out, I get it, but they're probably going to give someone else some work too. But I think in the flex, I like the matchup. I like Evans over Javonte. It's pretty close, though. It's not like it's not like a clear. But to me, I like Evans a little more.
Maybe I'm a little biased. I would actually go with Javonte just because I've seen too many times the Brady, the offense, like it just might be a 3 touchdown game for Godwin and Evans doesn't do anything. So I do like Williams to score, to have a really good floor without Melvin Gordon. He's just been primed for a breakout, but
yeah, I agree.
I don't think you can go either way.
You've got the floor with Javonte for sure, and probably chilling with Evans. Depends if you're what you're looking for. If you feel like you got this game, this week you got a good chance of winning, just straight up, just do Javonte. If you feel like you got to, reach for the stars, you got to go for Evans, in my opinion.
Hey, Evans was my league winner last year. That was the game, the 3 touchdown game. I was skiing. My phone was just like, ding, ding, ding. Mike Evans, big play. Mike Evans touchdown. I was like, oh, shit, what is going on right now?
All right. Well, next section, studs. Eric, why don't you start out for us? Who you like for studs this week? So I don't steal all your thunder.
I gotta go with my boy first of all. My boy JT, he's gonna be there. Some guys who we haven't talked about as much. David Montgomery, I feel like he didn't have a great game last week, but man, that guy's getting the volume. I know chase volume, but he's a decent player. He's a Chris Carson type player, crashes into people, but I think he's gonna have a good game this week. Antonio Gibson as well, with McKissick being out.
Yeah, that.
He plays as well. I have Joe Mixon.
They fed him. When they feed him, there's results.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player, man. I mean, he's a pretty good player. He's
a great fucking player. They just don't give him the ball.
I also have you mentioned him earlier, Brandon, but I had Renfro was a stud this week. I feel like he's going to have a great game. I like him a lot this week. Cup, and then also Deonte Johnson.
Yeah,
the guy is, Ben has kind of had some pretty bad games, but Deonte, he's got a good floor and a good ceiling, so I like him this week.
He has great volume too.
I mean, I can name 100 guys, but I narrow it down to some that maybe haven't been talked about as much. So that's where I kind of ended. Then also the other guy I had was
Johnson. I swear to God, gave you an aneurysm last year.
As long as JT doesn't put up 50 points, Pittman is in the equation as well.
Yeah, Deonte Johnson is scary to own, and I know why you didn't pick him up this year, because you were like, nope, can't do this again. And I picked him up, and it's still
he's a really good player though. Like the guy's a stud.
Please.
The last guy is Michael Pittman as well. He's had. I know JT's the show in town, but Pittman he's had a couple off games, but the guy's really talented. He can go off any week, and I like him this week as well in the matchup.
For sure. So me for studs at running back, obviously Jonathan Taylor. He is going to be. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, right? It's going against the Texans, but he is 23% projected ownership, and 9,200. So it's definitely high. So you're going to have to get different elsewhere if you play him. Eckler. And that Eckler, well, not the same game, but Eckler going against the Bengals, high projected game. He's just going to be over 10%, so not incredibly high, 13%. I do like some of him. Mixon, of course, as I have him in my Milli Maker build. Elijah Mitchell, so he's also in the build. He's coming in at 15% right now. He got 32 touches last week. No Debo, so they're certainly going to feed him. He's a good play for me. He's a guy that I like. And then Gibson, if no McKissick. So
yeah, he's out. He's been ruled out.
Yeah, he's been ruled out. So for sure, lock you in some McKissick or some Gibson this week at 5,700. He's only 13% right now. I'm expecting that to climb, but like I said, you got to have exposure to quite a few of these guys. Wide receiver, I mentioned it, Cup, bounce back. Godwin, Keenan Allen, Evans. So obviously you got to have both Godwin and Evans exposure. They are guys I think you could just play as one-offs, if you're trying to get a little different in some of your builds, but you need a guy who can have that type of ceiling. If it's an Evans week or if it's a Godwin week, that'll definitely win you a GPP if you guess right on one of those. So mix it up a little bit. They're pretty much the same price always, so get a little bit of exposure to both of them. And then tight end, of course, Gronk. You got to play Gronk this week as well. Not really sold on like a ton of other tight ends except for Foss and Moreau. And he's not really a stud. I guess he's kind of a sleeper. He's kind of in the middle. Price-wise, he's a sleeper, but I'm seeing him over 10%, and I'm expecting that to be high. And then the other guy is Kittle. We need a ceiling game from Kittle. It's been a while. There's no Debo. Kittle coming in at under 10%. Pay up a little bit at tight end. I like me some Kittle as well.
Yeah, man. I like those. I like that as well. Paul, do you any studs you like this week?
I gave you the list of who I think is going to hit some high numbers. So I'm hoping for some of the injuries who mostly going off the volume. Dudes like Ayuk, obviously, Gibson because of injuries again. So kind of looking more for volume instead of, feed these dudes. You get 20 touches a game, you're putting up points. Look for that.
Sometimes. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, it happens for sure.
Volume produces points.
Well,
all right. Well, sleeper time, boys.
Yeah, it's my favorite app, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great app.
Favorite platform to play on.
If they they started the player props, right? But if they get into the DFS game, it's gonna be a big market share.
Yeah,
loss for everyone. If you can have all in one app, if you could just do everything,
Yeah, I bet they're probably going that direction. Probably just is using this as a test.
Yep. Good for them.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want me to start this one out?
Go ahead, start it up. Do it up.
All right. So, basically, when I look at sleepers, I am looking at guys at lower ownership. So, it's not necessarily salary. Obviously, you want to get some low salary guys, but, just really looking at someone like Barkley, for example, who had a bad game last week. He burned some people, myself included. He's coming in at 7% ownership. Right below him, James Robinson. He burned me last week too. He didn't have the best week. He's coming in at 5% ownership. So he's definitely a bring back option with the Rams. He's consideration for me. Miles Sanders, 3% ownership. Hurts has a bum ankle. Maybe they're just going to lean on Sanders more this week. He's worth a flyer. And then right now I'm seeing Sony Michel at 1% ownership. So obviously if Henderson is ruled out, that's going to change. He's going to end up being chalkier. But when will that news come down? Will it come down Sunday? You just never know. So right now he would be a sleeper for me. Justin Jefferson, I mentioned him earlier. I was seeing I want to say 7% ownership on him. It was quite low. So, yes, 9%. So, if you can get Justin Jefferson is some leverage off of Madison in that game, do it for sure. Jamar Chase, same thing. He's 8%. So, some of these guys are definitely quite a bit lower. And then Thielen, he just gets tutties. This is what he does. He's going to vulture the tutties from everyone else on the team. So, have some Thielen exposure. And then Terry McLaurin. If everyone's in on Antonio Gibson, that is a good way to get leverage. McLaurin, he seems to be way down. Yeah, he's 7% is what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, he's for sure a hit or miss player. Like if you look at his game logs, he's got some really good games and some kind of bad games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Like it, man. I have some of the same guys as you. Start with the quarterbacks. If you want to go a little cheaper, who's less owned, like Taylor Heineke against the Raiders D. They've been very Jekyll and Hyde. Same with Tyrod Taylor. I assume that they're going to be down, playing from behind. You know, he does run the ball quite a bit. Like him as well. I also I had Saquon and Sanders, which you mentioned both. The only other guy kind of looking at like may surprise you is Boston Scott. If they're putting a whooping on the Jets, Scott's, Jordan Howard's ruled out, and also Sanders is coming off an injury. Scott's questionable as well, but he was sick on Wednesday, so sick Wednesday, Thursday. That's why he has a questionable sign. For receivers, got Josh Reynolds listed. Laviska Shenault, which I've been waiting for all season, waiting for it to come through. And then, a guy you mentioned earlier that's in your lineup, actually, Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Man.
Yep. I like those guys, all sleepers as well. I think, if I really like Boston Scott. I'm not sure how healthy Sanders is, but Boston Scott, from what I've seen, is about 1% owned. He's pretty cheap. He's 4,600. If happens to be that, they're putting a beating on the Jets and they need to rest Sanders, Scott might get the work. So, as well, he's pretty low owned, pretty cheap.
Can he really be resting players?
If you beat the Jets by 20 points, maybe.
Yeah, I guess if you're that far up, I'm just saying.
It is the Jets. Sorry, Jets fans. I'm sorry.
It is the Eagles.
Yeah, but the Eagles are. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Never. That's a weird game, man. That I'm just like, fuck. Here we go. At least we're
this a trade?
Videos from the stands, right?
Is this a trade that was this mentioned here by the Chosen Rose?
I don't know. We need more clarification on this.
It's just asking you what team's going to win. Team A, Team B.
Just straight up. Okay.
All right. Is it maybe his matchup this week?
No,
I would probably lean towards Team B.
Team B.
Yeah, but I think the difference in this lineup is going to be between Lamar or Josh Allen, because I worry a little bit about Josh Allen going against New England this week. Like, if there's anybody that can cause him problems, it's Bill Belichick, especially knowing some of his weaknesses that he has. So it might come down to Lamar or Josh Allen.
Yeah, it could, definitely. He's got Tevin Coleman, Lockett. Hopkins, I'm not sure how healthy he is, but I do like Eckler and Madison and Renfro and Patterson, and the defense for Arizona. I like that a lot.
More than
Tampa Bay, he's got a good defense too.
And Lockett.
I'd say it's a pretty close matchup, but I'd say Team B.
Agreed. Well, boys,
are you for 11th and 12th place with those teams?
What?
You can always tell when Paul's filling the whiskey.
All right, let's go.
Well, boys, that's going to do it for our Week 13 Milli Maker preview, Making a Milli. Good luck this week, and, of course, we will see y'all next Friday, and then we will be back to recap. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you never miss an episode. And then tomorrow I am having that write-up over on fantasyfootballfling.com, so go ahead and check that out, especially if reading articles is more your thing than podcasts. But good luck, everyone, and we'll see y'all next week.
Some money.